Tell us a little bit about yourself. Your story is well chronicled, but what is of interest to people is that you started off as…
I haven't read that book, I know, I hope she's written nice things about me.
She's written a very brilliant… Arundhati Subramaniam has written a very brilliant book.
No, she's brilliant, but what's she written about me?
One of the things that she has said is that you give great space for dissent. You like a good argument. That you're not one of those dictatorial gurus.
I don't know where is a dictatorial guru. I think most people have not met a guru, they've just seen calendar images and made conclusions. I don't think they've met any genuine guru. There are a whole lot of people who should have been temple priests who are good entrepreneurs and they've become gurus today. That's different, okay?
Temple priests
No,
who have become good entrepreneurs.
No, I'm saying…
It's just another way of saying they're charlatans.
That's a strong word. Maybe that's enterprise. I'm not an enterprise. So because I'm not an enterprise, I want everybody to ask whatever the damn question they have. It doesn't matter how ridiculous or how intelligent, how nonsensical it is, it doesn't matter. If the question means something to you, it means something to me. It doesn't matter how brilliant it is, if it doesn't mean anything to you, I'm not willing to listen to it.
But you're saying that many people who are positioning themselves as gurus are really only elevating themselves and fooling people.
I didn't say
okay,
that.
I'm saying that.
I'm saying… The thing is, there is a vacuum, somebody is trying to fill it.
Yes, and Sadhguru, you have been…
Are they qualified to be that? Questionable thing.
But a very genuine concern, and you have been on some of my television programs where we have spoken about this, is whether God men are often con men. And how does this lady here know the difference between who's a God man and who's a con man, and is a human being capable of being a God man? Do you think of yourself as a God man?
Why are you underestimating that lady?
Okay, let it be my question. How do I spot the difference between a godman and a conman if I don't even believe that humans can be godly? I think humans can be brave and wonderful and inspiring, but I don't think that they have magical powers.
See, did you ever see God having magical powers?
No, I've never seen God.
No, then why are you saying he must have magical powers? So first of all, this God-man is essentially a media-coined word. Nobody claims that he's a God-man, okay? Some are goddamn men, that's different. I don't think anybody has personally claimed I'm a God-man. I have not met anybody like that. Now, that's another kind of profession, putting labels on everybody, you know. Leaving that alone, what is it? This is a culture, you must understand, this is unfortunately all mixed up today. This is a godless culture, you must understand this. There has never been an idea of a god in this culture. Only in competition with what came from outside, because we saw they could rule us, they were dominant, and we thought we have to imitate their ways, we also started making it up to some extent, not successfully though. Yes, but we know the technology of God-making. When I say technology, we're using the English word God, but that word doesn't exist in India. Here we call them devas. What a deva means is, see, today media is projecting Tendulkar as a cricketing god. It's very appropriate to this culture, because if somebody excels beyond a certain level in any field, he may be a sportsperson, he may be a warrior, he may be an artist, he may be anything. If he excels beyond what normally average human beings think is possible for them, he goes, they recognize him as a deva and he's worth looking up to because he becomes a guiding light for them. That'll anyway happen, whether you like it, you believe it, you don't believe it, in every field, somebody rises, he becomes the light for the rest of the people.
Yes.
So similarly in the inner spaces, when I say the inner spaces, the quality of your life is not determined by what kind of house you live in, what clothes you wear, what car you parked outside, what things jing-bang happening around you, no. This moment, how joyful, peaceful, blissed out you are within yourself. Now if I sit here, we are sitting here in the same space, breathing the same air, probably we ate the same kind of food. I don't know what you eat. But if I sit here now with my eyes closed, the way I am within myself, I will not exchange this for anything in the universe. Now, when people see, no matter… the number of things I'm managing is insane. Everybody thinks, Sadhguru, is it possible? You must go crazy someday. All volunteers, over 3 million volunteers, enterprises, businesses, okay, projects, mega projects on the street, all kinds of activity going on around the globe. If anybody has to go nuts, it's me, okay? Because all run by volunteers. Run by volunteers means nobody is trained for the job. And you can't fire them for inefficiency because they're volunteers, all right? And anytime, they come in anytime and do great things, anytime they'll walk away, all right? And nothing should collapse. Till now, I must tell you this, as we are sitting here, this day, probably little over 300 and odd programs, engineering programs are happening in the world. Never in the last 33 years, one program has been abandoned or has failed. That takes enormous management. But nobody will ever see me getting angry or miserable or tensed out or stressed out.
You've never lost your temper?
You want me to know? Do I look like I'm incapable of that? It's not that. It's not that I'm incapable of anger. It's just that I've never given that privilege to anybody. I have not given this privilege to anybody. They can make me happy, they can make me unhappy, they can make me angry, they can make me miserable. No, I kept these privileges to myself. So, people… you were talking about miracles or whatever, people ask me, Sadhguru, everybody in every ashram, miracles are happening. You are beating all the miracles down. If we say something happened, you make us look like fools. No miracle. I say, what, you want me to pull a pigeon out of my pocket? If I pull a pigeon…
There are
no, if
gurus who claim to do that, who have been challenged by
rationalists. I'll come to this. If I pull a pigeon out of my pocket, I have a shitty pocket. And you have a bird. What are you going to do with this? You come to me, I will show you the miracle. I have thousands of people who are working 7 days a week, 16 to 18 days, 18 hours every day. In the last 2, 5, 10 years, not a single moment of irritation, agitation, anger in their life. This is a miracle. This is a miracle we want to manifest. You don't want a miracle?
I agree, this is a miracle.
Yes.
And not that pigeon. Do you have a pigeon in your pocket? Okay.
I told you, I don't like a shitty pocket. We camped at Mettur Dam and also the KRS Dam in Mysore. That is a part of the country that's very familiar to me, and I've spent a lot of time as a child and a youth along the Kaveri there. The dam is to the brim, actually overflowing. KRS Dam is 124 feet, 8 inches and overflowing. Whenever breeze blows, it is overflowing over the dam. 1 lakh cusecs were being let out, initially 3 lakh cusecs and then 1 lakh cusecs were being let out on a daily basis, but in spite of that it was overflowing. So was Mettur Dam, 120 feet full. So I asked the local guy who was living there next to the dam, I asked him, how many days did it fill up? He said, 4 days. I said, this is not good. If it rains heavily in Coorg, it would always take anywhere between 20 to 30 days to fill up. That's a good thing. But now it's filling up in 4 days, so for the first time, in 50 years, for the first time I'm seeing that the KRS Dam is brown in color, full but brown in color. This means the soil of the mountains is coming to Mysore city, which is not a good thing. Kaveri should come walking, but she is running, this is the problem. We need to understand The same amount of rain is coming in the last 100 years, the average is same. Our only problem is we are not able to sequester the water that comes down in the form of rain, we are not able to put it into the soil, mainly because there is no organic content and there's not enough trees and vegetation. If we plant these 242 crore trees, we can sequester anywhere between 9 to 12 trillion liters of water. To give you a perspective of what is 12 trillion, the entire flow of Kaveri right now is 21.2 trillion liters. So 12 trillion liters extra if it goes into the land, the rivers, all the 120 rivers will flow, your lakes will be full, your wells will be full, above all, soil will be damp most of the year, and that is what is needed. For the state and the nation, if you want a solution, the maximum landowner on the planet is the farmer still. It is he who has to go for it. Why will he go for it? You want him to save the world? You want him to save Kaveri? You want him to save the nation? No. He is right now struggling for his livelihood. Now the only way it will work is that it must be an economic plan for him. This is what I've been looking at for over 25 years. Now we know 100%. This is not an experiment on the farmer. We know 100%. His life will change dramatically. Right now, if you ask any farmer, you can do a survey and see if you want. Not even 2% of the farmers want their children to become farmers. So in another 25 years when this generation passes, how do you think you're going to grow food? The most significant achievement in the country is, without any technology, without any modern science, just with traditional wisdom, our farmer is growing food for 1.4 billion people. This is not a small thing. This is the greatest achievement for this nation. But unfortunately, their condition right now is very, very bad. Everybody knows about the suicides and the stuff. This is a game changer for the farmer, for the soil and water, and for everybody. If 33% of farmers or 33% of the land goes into agroforestry, we have calculated by 8th year, the government will be earning 29,000 crores of GST. So, it is wonderful for the farmer, it is wonderful for the governments, and the governments are responding very responsibly. The farmer is very enthusiastic. Now, the civil society, it's our business to see somehow we grow healthy saplings for the farmer. 242 crores is a lot of saplings. There is no one department in the government, there's no one private agency or a commercial force which can grow this kind of number. And another problem is to grow quality saplings. When I say quality saplings, right now we have 35 nurseries happening in Tamil Nadu. These 35 nurseries, we take 9 to 15 months to grow a sapling for transplantation. Many commercial nurseries are growing the same sapling in 3 to 5 months because they use a lot of urea and grow it, we're growing it organically. What is the difference? The difference is just this: when transplantation happens, the survival rate is over 95%. And in that, the survival rate is around 40%. And recently, the Agricultural University of Tamil Nadu, TNAU in Coimbatore, which is a premier institution in the country, invited 40 different sapling producers in the state. The Isha nurseries also went. And of the 40 samples that came, all the 39 of them had nematode deposits on their roots. The only one without nematode deposits was from our nurseries. This is very important because when you shift the farmer into tree farming, suppose you give him bad saplings which will not produce the result that we are promising him, then you are pushing him further into a horrible situation, another corner. So this is extremely important. This is why this 42 rupee campaign is going on. This will need a minimum of 12-year commitment. Are you with me?
Ho, ho, ho! The year is coming to a close. And what have you done this year? One more year gone, are you still alive? And what are you alive to? What are you dead to? When was the last time you saw a full moon or a sunrise? When was the last time you gazed at a mountain or the ocean? Or you looked at a butterfly fly? When was the last time you saw a flower blossom or kicked a ball? When was the last time you smiled at yourself? When was the last time you looked back and could laugh at yourself? For the last few days of the year and the years to come, get into the act and make it happen for yourself. Come alive.
If you made it this far, it's because something spoke to you on some level. Let us know where you're watching from, subscribe to the channel, check out the links in the description for more reflections. Because honestly, very few people make it to the end. Thanks, big hug, and see you in the next video.